of this draft back. Now, this is the real big moment here is, does Faker go to something else like the Talia into this Azir? Or is it just simply going to be he picks the Corki? This is the matchup you want into the Azir, I think, more than the Tristana, even though you can buffer and pick that. We've seen so much over the years, but in a very different way.
Tristana's pick ban rate, 96.3%. We're not going to see it in this game unless someone wants to play it in the bot lane.
I don't think so.
Or the wolf-hated Corki bot lane.
No, I don't.
Which is not going to happen.
I don't see it. I don't see the angles. Renekton will be the choice here for Zeus. A pick we haven't seen him play, it feels like, in forever. As Sion being considered here. I don't think that is a bad option necessarily, but it does mean that you're going to need a lot of scaling for Viper later on. I think this is a better option. Just lock this one away. Can then force T1 to ban Leona and keep counter pick for Doran. The Poppy's still technically flexible. Don't think it's going to happen in this case, but the setup here for this draft for Hanwha feels like you got a Peanut's best pick. You've got a strong Azir angle here into the Corki. You got the Ezreal, and you have flexibility, whereas T1's draft has a Sejuani Prio pick, some synergy with this Renekton that needs to get value, but you know the counter pick is still waiting.
Waiting a long time to go ahead and ban that Ziggs. Ziggs, I feel like, definitely could have been a great choice for Guma if that was left available. You don't have a lot of AP in the comp already, so could be coming out, but now they're going to take the Zeri away as well.
No fear of the Kalista here this time around. And it's got to be a Leona ban here, you have to think. It's so powerful with the Ezreal. Yeah. Down it goes. And they could just lock the pick here for Doran now. They could save the counter pick for Delight if they want to. Depends on what he wants to play here. If he's got something he really wants to pull out, like Rakan at this point in time in the draft, he's afraid Keria is going to get, but I don't feel like it's really necessary. That counter pick is going to be very useful. And the classic Quinn counter to the Renekton, question mark? I guess so. I guess we're just locking it, Valdez.
You know, average amount of 80 carries per game nowadays is 2. So you only had 1. You got to get the second one. And jokes aside, I mean, it's a great lane into the Renekton as long as you don't get ganked. And with the amount that Peanut has been camping the top lane, might be a little bit more difficult from the red side as well, but we'll see how that does go. As Caitlyn Braum is going to be locked in here, and now Delight gets his choice after seeing the bot lane of T1.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if he's bold enough to play an Enchanter here, or if it's just going to be something like the Nautilus. Really tough to play into Caitlyn Braum. Rakan was the other pick I was talking about. They could have tried to lock in if they wanted to guarantee that pick, but he wanted to see what was coming first. And this is the Caitlyn pick that, Atlas has been calling for this. We've been talking about this pick a lot. Sometimes we've kind of defaulted to what sort of advantages Doran can get up their top side. He did it extremely well. Peanut's help in game 1. He's going to have to do it again here in game 2 if they want to close this out 2-0.
Yeah, top jungle very much on a knife's edge. We'll see how that does go in game number 2. Can Peanut have the same impact that he had in game 1? We'll have to wait and find out here on the Rift. All right, T1 versus Hanwha Life Esports. T1, they get to the blue side after their loss in game number 1. They pick the Sejuani for owner here once again. And we'll see if he can make it work, as did feel like not necessarily owner's fault in game 1, but just because Peanut was so impactful, did feel like a little bit of a jungle gap just because Peanut was playing so well.
I mean, when you also consider Viper had cleanse and obviously has a lot of ability to escape and was putting massive poke on, it felt like owner just couldn't do anything in the late game. His agency was very low comparatively. In this game, they have a little bit more engaged, and that they have the Renekton that can also get on top of potentially an Ezreal. Maybe it can help blow up the Azir. Rakan going to be a really nice follow-up here, or setup for Hanwha Life, as they're trying to get something T1 out of this Braum level 1, but Hanwha's 5-point start, Delight's going top just to suss everything out, dropping a ward there. They are really leaving nothing to chance, but this does mean, with Peanut once again over here on Raptors, that will be potentially just that blue buff taken away. Not much Hanwha Life can do about this one.
Yep. Just the power of the Braum, as you mentioned. And Keria threatening to go in there from behind, but it's not going to happen. Still just going to run straight at them. Gets that Q onto Viper. And we'll see how much engaging our engaged Braum, that is Keria, will do in this game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily looking forward to it.
Not going to necessarily be the greatest. I do agree with you, and there is going to be Caitlyn's power trough we'll have to talk about later on too, where Ezreal hits 2 items. Caitlyn's going to be kind of hanging around, won't be able to necessarily team fight well, especially if the Renekton is behind. And this is what I'm really glad we're showing this, because the way Quinn is talked about in this matchup, it makes it seem like it would be a extremely lopsided matchup for the Quinn, and it is considered a strong counter. You take the cleanse, the Renekton can't really stun you, and then you just win those all-ins. Take Fleetfoot, but the Renekton has won almost half the time. You know, it's fairly contentious, this matchup, because we have seen a lot of Quins fall off despite winning lane, so...
Yeah, or it's, you know... Well, we might have to talk about it a little bit later, as Peanut is coming in here. Pretty early gank onto Faker, who doesn't seem to have Valkyrie, or doesn't seem to want to use it. It's a bit of damage to him.
Doesn't want to go splat on the block there from Peanut. Just
hate going splat on the block.
Yeah, the steadfast presence, the word I was searching for. Hate it when you go splat on the steadfast presence.
Yeah. Oh, nice little knock up here from Delight. Gets a Q in, gets the heal onto Viper, just pressuring their lead forward.
Dodge the Q from Keria.
Huge.
Massive.
Just generally a nice guy.
Yeah. Large.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, Caitlyn Braum, very strong, but Ezreal still in a very strong spot in the meta after his recent buffs. And he can, if given enough space, can do a lot of damage, and he is right now to Guma. And the heals from the Rakan are also pretty huge. So yes, you land the concussive blows, but Keria's most of the time just kind of standing around, didn't have a door to hold up to help Guma. Well, he did, but then it went down, and then eventually Guma gets very low.
Yeah, the sustained problem here, compounded with the buffs to Ezreal and his Q damage.
Oh. Okay, well, if Viper hit any of that...
If he hits that, he might be able to force a barrier at least with the W coming out, and then Guma has to back off. And Owner seen on this ward, great vision control here on the top side of the map for Hanwha Life. We're just going to come over here, take these Raptors.
You know, waiting in the brush. And just a little bit of a juggle on the chickens.
Hate to see it.
Juggling chickens a little bit dangerous, but Peanut is going to win in this battle and push him away. Peanut is down a camp and a little bit from those chickens.
Yeah, he did end up losing out on a decent amount of farm, but it's nothing too significant. Got a faster back. Does have his boots already as well. And Doran no longer in full control of this matchup. Still finds himself 10 CS ahead, but is it going to be threatening any dives or anything like that? Poppy now heading bottom side here. Peanut will just try to get some additional vision. The bottom lane going as well as it is, I think, really speaks volumes to both how good Delight is at his iconic Rakan pick, but also just how strong Ezreal is right now. It's like, oh, Caitlyn into Ezreal, that sounds like a freebie. And then it's Viper, and he's playing it well. And is there a steal happening, or are we just toggling? We're just toggling.
We're just watching Poppy doing her thing, killing a scuttle crab. Yeah, just toggling some vision. And, you know, kind of a sleepy early game outside of that level 1 invade from T1, but lanes very even across the board, except for Quinn getting ahead, as you would expect. Quinn essentially just totally neutralizes the matchup, so even if you're not getting kills, you can get ahead, and Renekton never really has any aggressive pressure, because if he ever does, you just vault him, and then he's like, oh.
And then I
just sit here and do nothing.
Yeah, you can blind him, you've got cleanse.
Yeah.
And you lose very little from going cleanse, because you don't need a teleport with Quinn, because she just speeds around the map. As it looks like T1, Delight almost in position to maybe steal one of those away, but he's going to come over here and contest. They want to get at least one of these, but no cryo for Doran, and I think Hanwha is going to have to give this one up. Very awkward here.
Pino was doing the Drake, so I'm not really sure what their goal was. Maybe to steal one away, or at least pretend like they're going to fight over it, but I don't think in that situation they were ever actually intending on committing to a fight. And Doran just stayed top the entire time. So Mountain Drake goes over to Life Esports. Gonna feel nice for the Poppy, I guess.
We'll see what soul we end up with here. Mountain into Cloud so far. And, you know, it's not a Tristana game. It is a Caitlyn game, which sometimes that grub pickup can feel really nice when you end up stacking those, because she ends up taking turrets very quickly if she has control of the lane. But she's going to be lane swapping top, while Viper is getting the plates meanwhile on the bottom side. And there is, so far, no answer. Zeus does not have teleport to come down here, so we have a late swap. I think they sold it pretty well, but see what Guma can get done with those 3 grubs. Owner is also here. Doran only has 1 cleanse. Owner does not have 6, so...
I mean, he's just going to run into the 2 of them. That is still very dangerous, and there's the cleanse flash as another stun comes in, but didn't necessarily have to use that, did Doran?
It should have been pretty obvious that this was what was happening, but he thought maybe he could stave the pressure off, and will be relatively unsuccessful in doing so. We'll lose those summoners. Can take the CS here, but Viper is swapping now back to the top side. So a really nice little tempo edge that T1 are trying to grab here. 2 plates go down bottom, 2 plates go down top. And it puts the Renekton away from the Quinn. So that's always a feels good moment. Zeus won't be committing to grabbing any plates himself here. Just back.
Curry gonna get his back stopped kind of awkwardly. They're not gonna get any kills or anything like that, but still feels nice to delay Keria going back to the bottom lane, which is what T1 are going for here. They want to match the Quinn with their Caitlyn and Braum if possible. And, you know, like you said, you can sometimes win lane with Quinn, and you can feel really great, and you can have a lot of side lane pressure, but sometimes you also don't have much of an effect on the game. It's nice. Valkyrie there from Faker gets out alive. Great reaction time. And Zeka just has to walk away sheepishly.
Yeah. You go for those, you hit it, you get a lot of value. If Faker just Valkyries it perfectly there, then you end up looking silly. And that is what we're going to have, the ladder in this case, as Doran's now rushing back to top lane. He is very speedy on this Quinn to get back to lane. Looks like he's going to maybe miss 1 minion there. And on the bottom side, you see Viper clashing once again with the Braum, Caitlyn. Faker, after that ult going down, has a little bit of extra pressure in this lane. But with no objective up for a little while here, we're playing a little bit of ring around the rosy with the lanes here, but it has not really been either team making an error or finding any opportunities. See if that changes right here. Don't think so.
Yeah. You know, the more and more I watch this, the more I feel like it can be risky to play Quinn in a lane swap meta, because Renekton's ahead on farm.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a wave going in, so Doran's going to catch up, and he's probably going to take the lead. But that's not the way this is supposed to look by any means. And, you know, they traded an even amount of plates, basically. T1 are ahead on gold. It feels like Zeus is totally fine. Yeah, he's not getting any kills, but he's getting through the lane for free.
He's getting through the lane for free, and in a team fight, the Renekton is usually much more valuable just because he can heal with his Q. He is going to be able to get in there and brawl. He can be another threat to blow up the AD carry or the mid laner. Quinn can do some damage on the flank, and if she's massively ahead, she could be a huge threat. You know, see any keen Quinn game ever, and you'll see what she could do in a team fight. But with this game state, T1, I feel like, have definitely outplayed and out-rotated Hanwha Life.
Viper gonna eat an ult and the stun. Has to cleanse it just to get away from the trap. So that's sometimes the pressure you will see from range from those two. Here comes Peanut, trying to get into the grubs, but Owner is going to smite that one down, and now he's getting to work here on the Zeus, but that's not going to be a kill.
I mean, Zeus has so much control here on top side, even into the Quinn, that Peanut's, you know, he can't get the Renekton. He can't, you know, stop that first grub from going over, and yes, Owner backs off, but Zeus is rotating back over again, and Peanut's going to have to leave, so really, unfortunately, no control gained here by Hanwha Life, and Zeka does have his ult back up now, but isn't able to get over there and put the pressure on. Speaking of pressure, Viper and Delight going to lose a plate down here as this Caitlyn with 4 grubs is really going to work.
All right, well, we got a TP coming in. It's kind of an awkward angle, but with the Rakan, Delight trying to keep them around. Zeka, here he comes. This double flash available for the bottom lane, and now Peanut going to knock Faker away, but he's in an awkward spot. And I don't even think the Blast Cone helps him here. He's going to try to get over the wall, but there's the ult. And Peanut is going to taxi in out to Owner. But even Zeus is here. Now a flash over the wall, and the Nimbus Cloak. Peanut is going to get out against 5 people.
He's got that phase rush. He's running. Doran's going to get a plate for his troubles up here on the top side. They did get double teleport out of T1. But still, things looked like they were going to go very well for Hanwha Life with the double TP response. And Zeka was like, I'm doing it, I'm flanking. And he was like, I'm out of here. As he knew that it was bitten off more than he could chew. Also, great play from Guma there on the bottom side. Is able to kite his way out, uses the barrier to absorb that damage. And unfortunately for Zeka, he's just not there fast enough to impact the play. So, and they got a barrier, they got 2 TPs, but at the end of the day, T1 walk away the victors again. Albeit a slight advantage they gained from this, it's still there.
All right, they're going to try to kill the Renekton here. We do have Dominus available for Zeus. He's almost definitely going to have to pop that. Nope, just going to dash in and dash out, and he's totally fine, actually. The Rakan offers some CC, but Zeus tanky enough with just the plated steel caps and a ruby crystal to survive.
He also has his ultimate still. And back down here, more demolish, more plates going down. Guma is just making quick work of this turret, and it's an Azir who's getting pushed in. Guma even going to drop the ace in the hole here as they want to contest Dragon.
Faker taking a bunch of damage, but Viper trying his best to layer that in. The double knockup comes in from Delight, and Carrier going to be sniped down by Viper again. And a massive sweep going to get both flashes out of Faker and Guma. And now Viper, he's still on the chase. As unfortunately, we do have a Chemtech Soul, but it's still a nice fight here for Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, really nice fight for them. They get the kill, they get the Dragon, and, you know, those Cloud Drake stats are useful. Peanut's going to come over here, read that Owner is not going to back, and actually try to deny some farm, as Guma should be fine here. Flashless, though.
Yeah, he gets knocked up, and, I mean, Zeka's coming over. We got Peanut. He's looking for a dive, but Sejuani ultimate zones the rest of them, and now Peanut's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to throw up an emote and just try to run away once again. And he should be able to get out of here.
This game is just so intense. There's no breathing room for either squad. Both games back-to-back. And Guma handles that well. Owner goes super low after the Dragon, goes over and is able to, you know, identify where Peanut is and then helps keep the pressure off of Guma. Really great play from Owner in that situation, despite the last Dragon. And that should be the entire turret going over here. Not the final plate, but still a massive amount of gold injection to Gumayusi here. And T1 playing the map, playing this early game super well. Criticized a lot in the past for their weak lane swaps, but definitely skirting around this Quinn matchup very well, getting the Caitlyn ahead. And despite what was a kind of tricky laning phase with Viper and Delight getting some nice trades, Collector gets picked up now for Guma. And we're going to reset, go back to a little bit of a lull state. See the gold slightly in Viper's favor, but the Caitlyn was able to get so much plate gold in this game. Go back to Owner here. He does not end up having the smite go down. True shot comes through. See the timing of this. Okay, just faster reaction from Peanut as the Q comes through from Guma. And then he survives here just barely. And then sticks around and helps out Guma in the lane.
Sakarya, he held up the door, I think, at the very end. I feel like he could have maybe blocked the Ezreal, but perhaps he was just stunned or knocked up by the Rakan. But yeah, just put himself very far forward, saying, okay, I'm Braum, I'm tanky enough, I've got a door, I should be fine. But the CC layering from Delight, pretty fantastic to make sure that they could knock it down. And that they did. So that's why Viper, you know, even with the entire turret going over to Guma, Viper's still in a really good spot here in this game with the first blood. I think he got a couple of plates of his own on the bottom side as well. So going to be scaling up pretty quickly, and we'll see what kind of impact he does have in this big game before the Caitlyn gets her IE.
Dangerous game to play here. Owner coming up to this Emperor's Divide, holding Zeka, and Peanut is nearby. Carrier also here.
Yeah, Peanut immediately does go into that one, saying, get out of my jungle. But still the ward is going to be placed down. And Peanut did see that happen.
Yeah, there is no objective top side. So a lot of battling around this top turret, but not going to amount to anything here, as Doran still ends up in this lane with Zeus here. Stridebreaker picked for the matchup. if you ever do get a chance to get on top of that Quinn, it's a little bit easier to lock her down. Quinn going for the Kraken Slayer for some additional damage. Going to be that secondary 80 carry you were alluding to. Peanut hidden.
Hide on bush. And, well, it's going to be taken, but Peanut in a little bit of trouble here as he is CC'd basically for 8,000 years, and eventually he will die. Keria stealing the kill away, and Owner just puts up a nice little thumbs up himself towards Peanut.
Yeah, but plus 100 gold, Valdez. He's typing worth.
Yeah.
I don't think he's typing worth. That certainly was not where Hanwha Life Esports had their pressure on the map, and he does kind of lurk there and grab the red buff and perhaps thought he was tanky enough being Poppy to get out. But unfortunately for him, Braum is going to say no to that. Sejuani Braum is actually kind of a nightmare thinking about it. As you can see here, look at the minimap and where the rest of his team is. He's like, I'm going to steal it. And he does.
Wait, I think he didn't.
Wait, he did not? Oh, no, he did not. Look at his smite. Well... Okay. I actually thought he got it. He did not get it.
Yeah, it looks like he smited early and then Owner just killed it from 133 health. Either way, I mean, even if he does get it, he just dies anyway, so... At the end of the day...
So even worse than I thought.
Not the best play we've ever seen.
I mean, the rest of his team was nowhere nearby. If anybody shows up, he's doomed. That was a bit of a bizarre choice.
Yeah, he got out of the last play, so, you know... Maybe he was a little bit overconfident. But, yeah. We do have Zeus taking a little bit of damage here from Doran. And the issue is, you know, eventually this 80 carry is going to have 3 items. And Renekton in a 1v1 will not be able to handle it. And it's just going to be a nightmare, especially if Doran can play the matchup well and doesn't get caught out anywhere.
Yeah, as long as they can make sure to constantly assign him to Zeus as well, which when you have control of the map gets a little bit easier, and he can help burst down these dragons. Quinn is great at that. As T1 desperate for an engage here. TP.
Okay, then TP going to be utilized. Peanut, we're zooming in on the steadfast presence, and there goes the Braum, but Owner still nearby. It comes down to a smite fight, and Peanut wins it again. It's just a single Chemtech Drake, but now with Chemtech Soul on the board, could potentially pick that up next time.
That certainly could. T1 going to maybe try to push this meager wave in to grab the mid turret, but not going to happen. No Herald or anything like that, and they end up with nothing, unfortunately. They just didn't really heavily commit because they don't have, again, great, solid engage, and they're fighting into a concave of Hanwha Life Esports. And unfortunately, the Quinn is just rushing this dragon down so fast that they're like, all right, we just flip it 50-50. Hopefully we can get that. But they don't commit the Dominus, they don't commit the Sejuani ult, they don't commit the Braum ult, and just kind of hope for success. Peanut denies them again, and now it's Soul Point.
Ooh, Doran just went out of Valor here. He's going to be in some trouble. I thought he was just going to move up and get vision, but that is not the case. Now he is 1v2, and this Renekton, given enough time with the help of Sejuani, will absolutely deal with the Quinn. So Zay is going to pick up that kill and get even further ahead.
That was a bit of a overextension, a bit of greed, I suppose. I was like, does he think he can get this turret? Either way, he steps way too far forward. Does go out of Valor and has Flash and Cleanse, but there's just too much CC. He uses neither. He knows he's dead.
Oh, Guma. Oh, Guma. Viper is just taking names right now. Def did it earlier, right? On the Ezreal, and now Viper getting it 2 games in a row. T1 don't even give him the respect. They don't take it away. They don't ban it, nothing. And Viper's like, okay, you want me to play another game of Ezreal? We'll pick it here in the first rotation.
I mean, he's going to play another game of Ezreal. He's trying to get his True Shot Barrage back as soon as possible. Guma already back up to full, though, so with Chemtech Soul, he just gets that Mega Honey Fruit, and he's going to be A-OK. Viper putting the pressure on, though, in a big way. Back-to-back games, and you know, it's moments like these where if you leave yourself vulnerable, if you leave yourself stationary, like using Ace in the hole, Viper is ready to punish. He's going to True Shot you again. Yeah. It's not going to be too significant in this case, but still, a lot of resources had to be used there for T1 to help Guma get out of dodge, and this means bottom turret goes down. Zeka picks that one up, getting closer to his Leandries. And even with Doran's bit of a whoopsie there, Hanwha Life still show that this draft has a pretty strong neutral game. This Ezreal, if you can land everything, just like Viper did to bring them back in last game, It's so oppressive.
Yeah, he just essentially gets to control the mid lane in a huge way. And Doran still putting on that pressure in the side lane. Here he comes again. Gonna go on top of a trap, unfortunately, for Viper. Otherwise, might have seen even more damage go into Guma.
His true shot's almost back up. Can just toss it straight mid into this wave.
Well, this time Carry is gonna stand right in front of Guma. He's gonna say, okay, I know I did my warding. Now I'm gonna just stand here and make sure that Guma can farm.
Viper's out of mana as well. It's just gonna back off. Go back and buy. This game has been, just like the previous one, such a juggle of prio. Not a whole lot of big team fights just yet. We're going to get to that later, potentially on a Baron or on this Chemtech Soul. If it does go over to Hanwha Life, we're going to have a very early Elder in this game. Keeper's Verdict.
Yeah, gonna ult away the Braum. That allows the two-shot barrage to hit Guma, but the siege is still coming in. Yeah, I mean, did a little bit of damage, I guess.
I mean, it saved the turret, so you know what?
Yeah.
Credit to Peanut. He says, look, there's only one way to keep this turret alive.
Nothing else is happening. There's no Drake. They're not going for Baron, so I might as well.
I think it was actually worth when you consider, like you say, no other objectives are up. And, I mean, this is the kind of game we're watching. Very slow-paced. It's kind of snail-paced here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, T1 grouped for a turret. They failed to get it, but we're able to get the Renekton to push topside.
Guma has a bounty.
Yeah, he does. That's a bit strange.
I don't know how that's physically possible, but it is because, I'll explain it, T1 is ahead on gold, and actually Guma was very slightly ahead on gold onto Viper.
I think probably there might be some aspect of the calculation that goes with the turret plates that he picked up earlier as well. Yeah. Kind of implying that he was winning lane.
I know that the team diff definitely does factor in as well, so
definitely.
It's just kind of funny that he's sitting at 0-0-0 getting bullied by Viper the whole game, yet he's the one with the bounty. Yeah. It's just the way it works.
He's dead even in CS as well.
He's just slightly ahead on gold. And he did pick up his IE, so that's the more important part. Is Faker trying to punish Viper, and that he will. Some heals do come in from Delight, from his Quill, and from the Summoner spell, but now Viper going to be the one on the back foot.
They really want this turret. They're not going to get it, but still chunking Viper down. He is very vulnerable here. He can get some of this Mega Honey Fruit at least and heal back up, but now T1 prio on this Dragon.
Yep, and that fruit is one of the ones I like because it promotes action. Viper's able to get right back in, and we're going to have a clean, even fight here. And let's see how it does go.
Doran on the flank.
Yeah, Doran is on the flank. Peanut, he's got his Keeper's Verdict, and there it is. Owner desperately trying to dodge it, but now you just don't have Smite, so it's easy. And now they get the engage on Aseus, as do they have the CC to lock him down, though this Renekton kind of going crazy, but not for long, as he was alone. The rest of the team did not want to follow up on that without Owner, and it's just Chemtech sold to Hanwha Life Esports.
And they just avoid the fight entirely. That Mega Honey Fruit is so massive because T1 use a lot to push Viper down to half health. Ocaria blocks the returning damage, and its Faker just goes in and bursts him down, but he's able to come straight back, and then Keeper's Verdict, once again, so great for objective control, and this is how you watch a team play their style, right? This is what I love to see is Peanut's like, I'm picking this Poppy. It's not as meta as a lot of the other jungle picks right now. You're going to ban everything against me? Well, guess what? I've got this too, and he's going to use his ult to secure this, and then Zeka, as soon as they know the neutral fight is done, they just push on the Zeus. They know he's flanking there. They've got enough damage to take him out, and Guma just cannot follow. Carry just holds up the sad door, saying, well, at least I have to eat a true shot, but that's Chemtech Soul. Again, not the most valuable soul, and it's not the end of the world here for T1. They still have a gold lead, but it's a very fast Elder. And that means this game is going to get a little bit bizarre, potentially.
Yeah, I do wonder about this Poppy, by the way, because think about Poppy passive. The fact that there's basically no AP on the side of T1 outside of Sejuani, and Braum, I guess. And he is building full armor, and he's so far ahead. As we got a 1v1 here, Faker going in on a door, and he wants to punish him. The big one is going to miss, but he's got more rockets where that came from. He's looking to build up one more. Can he get it? The Wolves are going to block a little bit here as now a Valkyrie comes in, and it's not enough. But we do have the snipe from Guma downtown to take down Doran.
There you go. Get it done in the end. Baker chases him down, maintains vision. Doran plays it really well, gets the heal with the fleet footwork. He's trying to get his way out. He knows the Guma has ult, but won't be able to stop that one. So that's a big pick here as they're going to go for mid-turret.
Oh, that's Keeper's Verdict. Missed this time. Peanut finds himself in an awkward spot again, but he's basically unkillable. And the rest of the team, though, Delight might be in a bit of an issue. The Divide comes in, but Delight is going to go down, and now Zeka baited into the fight, trying to dash away. And he looks like he barely will, as one missile is going to miss, and Peanut is still on the run. And he is going to be the one that pays for it. T1 going to be looking at Baron now.
Yeah, there's the Baron call right afterwards, and T1, they end up punishing there super hard. Peanut missing the Keeper's Verdict is what sets it all up, and Viper trying his best to chip away at the chasing members. Zeka looking for the Emperor's Divide for Peel, but it's just too little, too late. This not going to be anywhere close to a steal, and T1, they had a gold lead already, but now they're going to take even more map control. The timing of this Baron, too, with those picks leads right into the Elder spawn. And you don't need a Chemtech Soul to win the game. If you are T1, sure you lost the last one, as yeah, this is, fortunately for Doran, a long, narrow escape. As you can see, Guma is pushing up into mid, and he's just in range. All he needs is vision to press R and click on Doran. And then over here, Peanut's looking for Keeper's Verdict. They really want to get his turret, but actually Owner just ults him and turns on this. The Keeper's Verdict is not going to connect. And then everything is used for Peel. Delight ults. He's looking for the knockup. They have the Emperor's Divide. They've got Viper's damage, but none of the Peel is enough as T1 are just set up in a phalanx here, pushing forward. And Zeka, extremely low, will get out with his life, but Peanut will not be so lucky, and that's the easy Baron call for T1.
Yeah. Veigar able to chase basically forever. He is extremely farmed up in this game, and he's just chunking people down. I'm surprised Doran even tried to take the fight versus Veigar down on the bottom side of the map. He could have just, flew away, flashed, anything else, but he's going to be the one that ends up going down first. That does lead to the play. Also kind of surprising that Hamlet Esports did siege after the fact that they lost the Doran in that fight.
I mean, I think if you consider what Peanut was trying to set up there, and the Keeper's Verdict could have really pushed Owner away, knocked T1 up, so they couldn't actually, or push them back towards the base, so they couldn't actually contest the turret. The angle he had there would have given you a turret at least. That's really big. That's really important because T1 have that mid turret. You don't for this Elder.
But I think Doran's dead again. He doesn't have vault, and, well, looks like Zeus is going to respect it and maybe even just give the kill over to Faker. Excellently done. As Faker didn't necessarily need more gold, but he'll enjoy it, sure enough.
And this Quinn pick is just really not working out. T1 circumventing it with some lane swaps early. Just hasn't really had any power in this game. And, I mean, now they even got Keeper's Verdict from Peanut. One of their best chances of maybe getting a miracle on this Elder is also now on cooldown for the moment. And as they're just pushing.
Nice try from Owner, but that is an Ezreal. And Viper's just going to dash into that one. And yeah, I mean, like you're mentioning, 50 seconds until the Elder, but T1 are just building up so much extra gold. Yeah. They can use the very end of the Baron to even Baron recall and use all that gold if they'd like as well.
Yeah, Zeus has teleport, can take those empowered recalls. Guma over here completely uncontested. They have the mid push, they have the bottom push, they have the top push. They have all three from the Baron. This is what I was talking about, the Baron lining up so perfectly for Elder. Hanwha Life have to rush over. And Peanut should be able to get his ult back up if they don't do this immediately. I think he will just barely get it up, despite failing to save Doran with it. Doran's back alive. This Poppy is super tanky. Yeah. Peanut's had some incredible secures this series so far, so it's not over till it's over, but it is if he's dead.
He's actually trying to punish Zeus, and doesn't manage to do that, but still on the chase. Zeus is being pushed all the way down and marked by the Quinn, so at least Doran is doing that, if not much else. Delight is going to find the Renekton. Ult comes in, Delight not going to get that blocked by Doran. We might just have a good old-fashioned flip unless Peanut can get the Keeper's Verdict again.
Viper's going to have to hit some damage here, trying his best to put it onto Owner, but just not landing everything. Caitlyn Trap zoning them out right now. Peanut going to try to clear this up Even Viper getting in there, but the keeper's verdict is really the key here. Peanut's got it back now.
Yeah, Owner does have flash. I would like to see him flash this one if it does come down to it. Galite, very nice angle. He's going to look for Faker, but he totally whiffs. That's not going to be the angle you're looking for. As now Viper going to throw that in once again. The keeper's verdict does get a couple, but not the two he was looking for. TP's coming in. As the Elder is getting so low. Might come down to the flip. Peanut wants to fight up a T1. Not going to let them come in, but Owner gets so low. And Zayas is frontlining, and they get the Elder. T1 should take this down. They absolutely wipe them, and they will take down the Elder.
T1 so patient this time. Yes, they get knocked away by the keeper's verdict, but Owner doesn't. Teleport comes through instantly from Zayas. They did not push the Elder health too low. They did not give Peanut an opportunity for the 50-50. They put him incredibly low, and they fight it exactly as they should. Hanwha Life, no chances in this one. No error from T1, and it looks very likely this is just going to be the end of the game here. 20 seconds on Viper, 25 on Zeka. T1 gonna bring us to 3.
That they will. Another very close game. I don't think we're going to be seeing Quinn again, that's for sure. The way that T1 were able to handle it this time around. As the Nexus will fall and T1 tie it up, we got a series on our hands as we do look